Hello guys, welcome to my creative corner, and today I'm going to be featuring a card that's located in our Stampin' Up catalog. What I love about, one of the things I like about Stampin' Up is that within their catalogs they show you, they create different products that you could recreate, and they tell you what products they use and what colors they use. So I'm going to be doing this card. I recreated this card. This card was on page 29, I believe, in the catalog. And I would be recreating that for you. I'll be doing that in 2 steps. I'll do the coloring first, and then I'll do the card in another video. So this is the card right here that I recreated. So not everyone wants to sit through coloring. So this first portion of this is going to be the coloring portion of the card. So on this right here, we have rectangle stitch framelit dies that I cut out using white cardstock, and there's a third one in. It's this one that I used. And that is measuring 3 inches by 4 3/8. So we're going to start out with that card. And the stamp sets that we're going to be using to make this card is 2 different stamp sets that they have here. The Tropical Chic and On to Adventure. But we're going to start out with On to Adventure. I'm going to be using these 2 guys here to stamp. I'm going to start out using my Stamparatus. And if you don't know about the Stamparatus, it's a cool tool that helps you to get your stamps almost perfect every time. You see, I use the word almost. Is nothing, no such thing as perfect. So we're gonna put this here, and this comes with magnets. These are pretty strong magnets. You have to be so careful with them. And we'll hold that down there. And we'll start out with this little guy right here, and you just place him down where you want him to be here. You bring your cover down, and that's going to stick to that, pick him up. And we're going to be stamping him with the Memento Tuxedo black ink. And with the Memento Tuxedo, the black ink, is better to use it if you're using alcohol markers so it don't bleed as much. And what's nice with the Stamparatus, if you don't get it the first time, you could bring it down as many times as it takes to get the perfect stamp. This hat didn't really come out, so I'm gonna make sure I press that good there. So I'm happy with that. Just gonna clean that off, put that away. Just straighten up my camera, then we'll bring the lady in. So, and then with this lady here, we're going to put the, kind of line the grass up so they could connect. And once again, we'll use our Memento black ink. I'm sorry, you can't really see that I'm stamping her up with the ink. Just clean this up some here. Alright, so we'll bring this down. Not too bad. And then we'll clean her off. put her away. And close up my ink before I make a mess. And I'm going to zoom in, so we're going to proceed with the coloring. And let's just focus there. Alright. So there's several ways that you could color. You could use whatever you have on hand. What I'm going to start out with, I'm going to do a mixture of the watercolor pencils and the alcohol markers. Okay, so first I'm going to do the grass, and I'm using the Granny Apple Green, and this is in the watercolors that I'll be using. And that set is, let's see, watercolors, we have pencil assortments number 2. Okay, so that's in that set. This is the newer colors. And with that, I'm going to be using our blending pens, and I think these have glycerin in it. Kind of neat idea, whoever came up with it. So we go ahead and do our grass. And I don't have the blending pens in the Granny Apple Green, so I'm going to be using this. I do have the Granny Apple Greens in a right markers. I think that's what you call it, the Stampin' Right markers, but I think the shade is just a little darker than I would like, so I won't use that one. So now I just come in here with my pencil and just blend out some of those harsh lines, or my blending pen I should say, and blend out some of those lines. And then these leaves and his shirt, I'm going to do in the Granny Apple Green too as well. Now with the alcohol markers, they tend to bleed if you get too close to your line. So these intricate areas, or these small little areas, I think it's kind of nice to do with the pencil, because the first one that I had a little bit of bleeding outside the line, and we have what we call is like a color lifter, but still I think you still have some kind of residue left behind with the color, although you lift it. Okay, so I'm just going to take the blending pen again and just smooth that out. Okay, the other color that I'm going to use is for her little suitcase, and again I'm using a rich raspberry, and that rich raspberry is within the first set of watercolor pencils, number 1. So we're going to do alright, so we're doing her suitcase, as I mentioned, in a rich raspberry. And I am doing it, like I say, in the pencil because it's such a small area, the color, and the previous card that I did kind of bled through with the alcohol markers. So when you're using the blending pen, you just need to make sure your tips are clean. Supposed to clean right off, and then we'll just kind of blend this out here. I want to have some colors darker than the rest. You can't see me, but I have my scratch paper over here and kind of just cleaning my tip like that. And I'll just make this area here a little darker if I can. Alright, so next, what color next? Oh, her bag. I want her bag to be apple green too as well. Granny apple green. And then she has that little strap over her shoulder. You can't really see it. But let's see here. I'm gonna hit it up with that green anyways. Alright, so we'll come in with our blending pen here and kind of smooth that out. Okay, now with her hat, what I'm going to do is come in with the band here on her hat. I'm going to use this rich raspberry. And underside of her hat, I'm going to make it that dark raspberry, being that I guess it looks kind of shaded. Sorry if I'm blocking your view, I'm left-handed. So I'm going to come in again with my blending pen and just blend out those areas. The blending pen is supposed to give you like a watercolor kind of look. And then the inside of the flower, we're going to do that raspberry color too as well. Okay. And then I'm going to come in with the Calypso Coral and do the rest of her hat. And blend that out. And then the flower, we're going to put the Daffodil Delight around that flower. Blending this out with the blender pen. I think I'm going to add some of the raspberry, let's see, the rich raspberry here and these darker shade in here. Make that coral color just, I guess this area makes it look like the shadow area. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is get, we're going to go to our stamping blends, and I'm going to start out with the light Pool Party, and I'm going to do the inside of the shades. Okay, that blue. I guess maybe you have this reflection of the sky maybe in the eyes. And then we're gonna come around and we're gonna shade in the blue, this same pool party around them, reflecting the sky in the backdrop. All these takes a minute to do, and this is the reason why I did it in 2 videos, because not everyone is gonna wanna sit through this coloring, and I guess you could fast forward it. I really like the alcohol markers, the way they blend, and the tone is a little softer, I feel, than the Stampin' Right markers. Those are just regular markers. I think those colors are a richer tone, a little darker. Okay, I think that's good enough there. Let's do his shirt, and we're gonna use the Stampin' Blends, and we're gonna be using Daffodil Delight, the dark and the light in a Daffodil Delight. And with this darker area over here that looks like it's shaded, I'm using a darker Daffodil Delight. And you have 2 points. I like this point because it gives out a little bit more inks, but you have to be careful. The other one, I don't know, it's maybe it's for, I guess, maybe more intricate or smaller areas, or for writing. It doesn't give out as much color, but to each his own, right? So I'll come in here with the lighter one and try to blend that out and go around his camera. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is his pants and his hat, and with that I'm gonna start with the bronze, color bronze, and the shaded area I'm gonna use that bronze there, and then for the hat use that. While I'm at it, I'm gonna put some around. They have those like little dark shaded areas under the. All right, then I'm gonna come in with the light crumb cake and blend that out. Go ahead and do his pants. Okay. And then we're gonna get the light petal pink and do their skin tones. And you kind of blend out some of that bronze that you have. Give him under the shade. Just there. I'm just gonna keep their hair white. And don't forget their arms. Don't forget her little neck. I'm gonna try not to mess up her pearls. I wanna keep those pearls white because it is bleached through sometimes. Oh, I have to do her arms. I almost forgot her arms. Alright, so that was a light petal pink. If you want, you could go back into the edges with the dark petal pink to give them a little bit more color. And also what you could do is I have dark Calypso Coral. You could put some more shadow there by the hat and even under the eyes if you want. Give a little bit richer of tones. And go back in and blend that out with the crumb cake, the light ones. Okay, now then his camera, I'm going to get, let's see, the lights, smoky slate, and I'm going to do his camera. You could do a combo of the light and the dark. You know, it all depends on what colors you have. Improvise. And now for her dress, it's going to be, I'm going to, let's see, I want to try to use a pencil because I'm trying to avoid it bleeding. So I'm going to come back in with my rich raspberry, get here by her arm and the strap. Get our blending pen and kind of blend that out. Okay, so you see that it got the shadow kind of effect, and you kind of go from where the artist like left those shaded areas. That's the shadowy area that I put more of the color there, and then with the pen, the blending pen, I kind of just blend it out and drag some of the color over here on this side. I was gonna add some Calypso Coral to it, but I think I'll leave it as is. And that's it. That is it. I got just add some white here. Add some of the color down off on her hair. I don't know if that'll make a difference there. Okay. Let me just see if add some colors here to her pearl. And this is just white. So I just want to show you the difference. So that is it here with the, I did 2 other cards, and with this first card you see I use and this one I use Calypso Coral in the Stampin' Blends, and this I just use the markers. Okay, now on this I want to show you with the grass. I had the Granny Apple Green in the Stampin' Right, but you see how dark that came out. I use it on her purse and then in his shirts. I prefer the lighter color, like they have different tones. And this is in the blending pen, the pencils, the color pencils, the watercolor pencils. And this one right here, what I use is the same blending pen, and I use the ink pad with this Granny Apple Green, and they kind of have this almost the same tone as the watercolor pencils does. So that's it, folks. Thank you for joining me, and check out the other half of the video when I completely put this card together. Thanks.